Hi, Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leo shirt and the Sober Curator to bring you the July 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Libra for sun and rising placements. Welcome to July. It's Cancer season, and Cancer season might be a little bit challenging for some Libras, as Cancer is the cardinal water sign of the zodiac, and you are the cardinal air sign of the zodiac. So cardinal signs either make opposition, so Libra, Aries is opposite, or a square, you square Cancer and Capricorn. And so those energies are a little bit challenged and tense. So those are just kind of things going on for you in terms of the atmosphere is a little bit more of a challenge versus a harmonious flow. But there's some stuff here that's not all challenge. So we'll talk about that. We start out every July in Cancer season, and the area of the horoscope that this hits for Libra is the area that rules your career. So the 10th house is where Cancer is hitting. And we have Mercury and Venus starting out on July 1st as well. But by July 2nd, Mercury is actually going to be joining the Leo, the sign of Leo. It's going to be entering the sign of Leo and the 11th house in the Libra horoscope. And this is where things are a little bit more harmonious, because Cancer makes a square to Libra, but Leo makes what's called a sextile to Libra. It's more harmonious. And the house that, the 11th house, the house, oh my gosh. Okay. I've done a lot of videos today, and I felt like I was kind of hitting a wall with it. And this is now showing me I have hit a wall. Okay. I usually try to break them up, or I do like 3 at a time, because by the time I'm on like video 6 or 7, I start to jumble up my words. So I apologize. Okay. Slow down. Talk about it. The 11th house represents our connection to groups, friendship circles, political organizations, community, things that represent a lot of people for us in the way that we're connected to these types of groups. Mercury entering this house amplifies your communication here. And so you're going to start to feel kind of more social, more like you want to connect with people. You might feel like you want to communicate more outwardly and openly with people. And, in Leo, it's all about self-expression, creative self-expression, and it's making a harmonious aspect to you, to your sense of self. So you're going to get kind of a boost of energy in that way. The sun and Venus in the 10th house still starting out the month is really auspicious. It amplifies your work that you're doing. It can bring more work to you. So work in general is very much highlighted. This is also a really positive time if you're trying to get promoted or make more money. Asking for that or working towards it is really supported while the sun and Venus are here. The other transit that we have starting out the month of July with is Mars in Taurus. Mars entered Taurus last month, and it is going to be in Taurus for the first 3 weeks of July. And the area that this has been hitting for the Libra horoscope is the area that represents marriage, shared assets, and resources. So that can be a house, any kind of asset that we might share with family members or marital partners. It's also the house that represents our connection to loans, investments, banks. It's the house that rules sex, death, and rebirth. It's also the house that rules the occult. So all of those themes get brought up. A lot of times when Mars is passing through this house, if we are married or in a committed partnership where we are sharing money, there's a lot of conflict here. And so if you've been kind of experiencing conflict with family members or a marital partner around shared assets or resources, Mars is here kicking up some of that dust. If you're alone, then Mars might be kicking up dust in areas of your sexuality or any kind of financial debt that you might have. It's not the best time to buy or sell a house, but you might be put in a position where, you're kind of facing those things if you have a home that you share with somebody else. Inherited money or things from other people can come up here as well. And then, your connection to the occult. So if you are into spirituality and kind of occult studies, you might be kind of going through some transformative process around how you internalize and work through those things. So those are big themes for Libra in the beginning of July. The other major transit we have at the beginning of the month is Neptune stationing retrograde at 29 degrees of Pisces. Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011, and it's about to station retrograde on the 2nd. It's going to be retrograde in Pisces in those later degrees until December before stationing direct again and then finishing up its stint in Pisces and basically doing its last little run through until March of 2025 before it enters Aries. And so one of the things to think about is where you were at in 2011 and 2012, because Neptune was starting to go into Pisces and then went retrograde and was kind of doing that back and forth thing that it likes to do before fully stationing into a sign. And kind of think of those 2 years, what was happening for you, what was starting to kind of, what from your past in that year was dissolving and going away, and what was taking a new form. Because that story now that was taking a new form, you've been in for the last 15 years. And now that's starting to dissolve. And now a new story is about to take form, especially since we have Pluto and Aquarius now at those early degrees. So ask yourself, like, where were you 15 years ago? And then this retrograde that's going to be happening until December, we're in another reflect review period around Neptunian themes. And the area of the chart that this is hitting for the Libra horoscope is the area that has to do with your health, your work, and how you're of service to other people, and also your routines, your daily routines, and how you structure and organize your life. And so think about the last 15 years, your health, all those themes, and kind of what's shifted or changed for you, where you're at now versus where you were at then, the changes that you want to make, and then what you're doing moving forward. The thing that's really intense about this is that, in the horoscope, this Neptune energy is cuspy and with an orb of influence on the descendant of the chart, which is the part of the chart that has to do with relationships and, partnerships specifically. And so there's going to be in March, once Neptune enters Aries, a whole dissolution of the way that you've approached partnership moving forward. And then you're going to start a completely new cycle on how you relate in life to partnership dynamics, whether it's romantic, business, anybody that you're, in some kind of agreement with in a one-on-one kind of way. So that's a big transition that's starting now. Let's kind of get moving forward here. So we've got on the 5th of July, a new moon in Cancer, and that's happening at 14 degrees of Cancer in your 10th house. And so new moons are all about manifesting and setting intentions and, being more focused on kind of what we want to call in. And because this is happening in your career house, this is a really positive time to do some magic or rituals around what you want to call in and manifest around your career, your work life, your public image, how you're putting yourself out there. The next major transit we have after our new moon is Venus entering Leo, and that's going to happen around the 12th. And so Venus will now join Mercury in the 11th house area of the chart that we were talking about earlier. And that's really going to amplify your social calendar. So having Mercury and Venus in Leo in the 11th house, your focus and emphasis on community and the people that you surround yourself with is highlighted. So very social month for you. Then after that, the next big shift of energy we have is going to be Mars entering Gemini on July 21st and a full moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So let's go back to June 21st. On June 21st, we had a full moon in Capricorn as well that happened at 1 degree of Capricorn. This full moon was a really good time for setting intentions around something that you want to call in. And in the area of the horoscope for Libra, it was the area that rules your home life. So work-life balance themes were really positive. Your family, the way you connect to family, the way you connect to home versus, your career, those things were coming up for review. And with this full moon a month later at 29 degrees of Capricorn, that 29 degree point is that degree point that has to do with things wrapping up, cycles ending, and us being in a place where we're cutting cords or releasing energy. So this one is all about you letting something go, moving on in regards to family, home, work-life balance. There's something shifting there. So it's a good time to do kind of more releasing, letting go type magic or rituals with that specific degree point, especially since it's going to be in conjunct aspect to Neptune and Pisces, which is, a hard aspect, and Neptune's that dissolve energy. So things are dissolving and kind of, going to take a new form after this full moon. After that, we have the sun entering Leo, which happens on July 22nd. Leo season will begin, and that's really good for Libra because Leo likes Libra. Fire likes air. It makes a harmonious sextile to each other, and it also is there lighting up your social house. So you're going to have Venus, the sun, and Mercury here. But Mercury is not going to stay here for much longer. It's going to enter Virgo on the 26th. And that's actually the area that the 12th house is ruling for the Libra horoscope. And this is an area that has to do with your subconscious. It's a more private house. So you might start feeling a little socially burnt out, where you're still pretty social, pretty busy, having Venus and the sun here. But now Mercury is kind of starting to pull you back inward and say, okay, there's some internal work that needs to be done and some things that, you know, you might be kind of processing or wanting to experience and feel. So those are some of the themes coming up. And we're also entering that Mercury retrograde shadow. So Mercury retrograde for the Libra horoscope, you know, it's going to be starting in the 12th house and teetering between the 12th and the 11th house of it. So those are kind of some things to be aware of. I do a bigger breakdown on the transits for the month in the July astrology forecast video. So if you want to know more of what's going on a collective, you know, kind of side of things, you can watch that video. It's at the top of the playlist for July. And then if you want to book a one-on-one session with me and see how these transits are impacting you on a personal level, you can contact me through the email that I have in the description box. And make sure to hit like and subscribe if you want to get notified on when I post these every month. All right. I wish you the best of luck. I will see you guys in August.